Is a Raw faction to split in the WWE Draft? We'll talk about it. Plus, the locker room are shocked and baffled by racist creative allegations, and a SmackDown star has had their name changed back. It's all in the wrestling news right now. So in our first news video today, we talked about the WWE Draft and how factions were being drafted together. It was after the video that we realized that actually when it comes to factions, there is an exception to the rule, and it's the bloodline, because Roman Reigns and Solo Sikoa are a package, and the Usos are a package on separate days. So they may be split, but they are not the faction that we are talking about at the start of this news video. Who are we talking about, Andrew?
We are talking about the Judgment Day. So Rhea Ripley has been listed as separate from the Judgment Day in the eligibility list for Monday, suggesting that Rhea may be broken away from Finn Balor, Dom Mysterio, and Damian Priest soon.
I'll be sad if this happens.
Yep.
I think they've made magic, those four.
Yeah, absolutely. I completely agree. I'm wondering how Dom sort of fares now without Rhea as well. Not that he needs Rhea to be there, but those two together, they're always like a delight to see on TV. But at the same time, as you were saying, it'd be such a shame. I think at the same time, Rhea really proved herself at WrestleMania 39. She seems to have grown in her confidence quite a lot now on the main roster, and it feels like she's a force that could just go off on her own and be a tremendous talent, just doing things in her own little pocket somewhere.
Well, Monday will be the day we figure out whether they'll stay together or whether they will go their separate ways. They're in eligibility for Monday's draft, but it's all about tonight's draft on SmackDown. You can join Adam Pacitti for live reactions to the WWE Draft at youtube.com/cultaholic/live. If you're watching SmackDown tonight to see where wrestlers go, where their new houses are, you can watch along with Adam Pacitti.
Sounds lovely, doesn't it?
He's being here. Sounds a lovely day.
Sounds lovely.
He's been drafted to his spare room with his concrete dog. So youtube.com/cultaholic/live. Live reactions to the draft on SmackDown tonight, and live reactions to the draft on Monday night as well. Yesterday, Andrew and I talked about a lawsuit that has been levied at WWE Creative from former WWE writer Brittany Abrams. She is claiming that WWE have a sexist and racist creative department. There were allegations made about certain creative that was deemed unfit for, was stood by for sexism and racism. And there were some really shocking examples given of how this went down, including one that was a piece of creative by WWE writer Ryan Callahan, which would suggest that during a love triangle, Mansoor would reveal that he was behind the 9/11 terrorist attacks. Now, since then, we've had a bit more detail about that and a locker room reaction to it, haven't we, Andrew?
We have, yeah. So this comes from Fightful Select, who say Ryan Callahan came under fire for a pitch that would have seen Mansoor revealed as keeping a secret that he was behind 9/11. We're told in the past Mansoor and Callahan had maintained a good relationship, and talent was shocked and baffled that this was even something said. Fightful Select going to say Callahan had actually been let go by WWE in 2019 after a disagreement with Dave Kapoor. Upon his return, he'd worked his way to the top of SmackDown and its writing team. Based on what we'd heard, the 9/11 pitch hadn't even made its way back to Mansoor before the news dropped. Those in the know said it was a joke in poor taste and not a serious pitch.
This is something I've heard quite a bit since this story started doing the rounds online. People saying, well, it's clearly a joke pitch, but in the description given by Brittany Abrams in the court filing, it feels as if Ryan Callahan becomes quite belligerent when the pitch is rejected, which is a concerning way of looking at it. Apollo Crews' Nigerian accent, where he put on a very exaggerated Nigerian accent back in 2021, was outlined in the lawsuit as well. Fightful Select say they've long been told that the accent was pitched by an active wrestler originally. Fightful also reached out to Shane Haste, aka aka Shane Thorne. He was involved in one of these pitches that's mentioned in the court filing, in which he would play a character that would hunt and capture Reggie, a black male wrestler. Now, Fightful say that Shane reached out back to them and said he can't speak to how it was how it was elevator pitched to Vince McMahon, but the version he heard didn't have anything to do with race, and instead would have been more about the entire 24/7 scene. So all about the 24/7 championship, with Reggie actually escaping most of the traps with acrobatics. We are also told, say Fightful, that WWE doesn't plan on commenting on this or any legal matters moving forward. It's an ongoing court battle with this one, so we'll keep you posted on it at cultaholic.com when we know more. We'll head over to New Japan Pro Wrestling now. Some exciting news of a new title coming out of Japan.
Yeah, so Mercedes Moné will join AEW's Willow Nightingale, CMLL's Stephanie Vaquier, I believe. I'm not too sure. Sorry if I've butchered that name. And Stardom's Momo Kogo in a one-night tournament to crown the first ever New Japan Strong Women's Champion at New Japan Resurgence. Moné will face Stephanie, and the winner will face Willow Okogo in the finals on the same night on May 21st.
New Japan Strong Women's Championship coming into circulation.
I think Mercedes might have this one in the bag.
This feels like Moné's tournament to lose. She's just lost the IWGP Women's Championship, so possibly getting something in place for her to hold another championship. It wouldn't have hurt her to have held both.
No, hello.
They could have done. They could have done, but they chose against it. But yeah, interesting lineup there that covers AEW, Stardom, CMLL, and of course New Japan's Mercedes Moné. She agreed to an extension on her New Japan contract, which will see her do more dates, and that's part of a world tour for her. She's very excited to be near her family member Snoop Dogg.
Yeah, definitely.
Think he'll turn up? Just in case someone gets injured, he can step in.
I guess he can. Yeah, if someone gets injured, absolutely. You saw these people's elbow. It was fantastic.
Understudy Snoop Dogg.
Understudy Snoop Dogg, indeed.
Maybe here to represent. Let's finish off with a bit of news from SmackDown. We love Madcap Moss in this house.
We do love Madcap Moss in this house. He did a little thing on SmackDown. VAR, everybody. Get your VAR out.
That's his new pose, isn't it?
It is, yeah. He loves it.
His new pose is the VAR replay call.
And then he breaks it because it's like, don't replay that. I don't want that scene anymore.
We are replaying his old name, though. So you would have heard Karrion Kross refer to Madcap Moss as Riddick Moss on Friday. Maybe you thought, oh, that stood out a little bit. But WWE.com now lists Madcap Moss as Riddick Moss. So he's gone back to Riddick.
It makes sense because for the longest time I always thought it's very strange that he's keeping a name that sort of Baron Corbin gave him and then never really got rid of it after he split away from Baron Corbin when he sort of like changed his look, like put the suspenders to one side. I was like, it's time for the name to go then as well. And then no, he kept it for a long while.
He just kept it on, and now he's back to being Riddick Moss again. Where will Riddick land in the WWE draft is the question. I feel like Riddick Moss is the sort of guy that certain people in WWE would want to get behind.
Yeah,
and push to the hilt.
Yeah, I think they've tried, and it's not quite got there yet.
It's not quite landed yet.
Yeah, I think there's still room for improvement there with the character, but I mean, remains to be seen. The draft, maybe it's the shake-up that Riddick Moss needs.
There's something about the draft and those first couple of weeks post-draft where you do see these unusual suspects come into the fore. And I'm going back years because I'm old as the hills, mate. Like when Rene Dupree suddenly emerged as a challenger for John Cena's US title. Shelton Benjamin pinning Triple H. On Monday Night Raw when he broke away as a singles guy. There's opportunity abound when you get drafted that, you know, there's some momentum to quickly pick up when you go to a new show. So might see it for the newly renamed, old-named Riddick Moss. We'll keep tabs on him over the next couple of days, as you will if you join Adam Pacitti at youtube.com/cultaholic/live for live reactions to the draft of 2023. He's on tonight and he's back on Monday as well to see where all the new wrestlers' homes are if you can't wait for the draft, if you've not watched it yet, check out Andrew and I, along with Jack the Jobber, doing 9 pitches for the WWE Draft.
Tom was on form yet again, everybody. On form with every 3 of his pictures. It was beautiful.
I mean, yours are always sublime, sir. But I mean,
in comparison,
I may have had a call off Netflix this week.
Especially with a final one, you'll have to find out what it is for yourselves. Though.
Exactly. It was, by the way, they called just to say that my bill was due, and nothing else. I promise. We'll have more wrestling news throughout the day at cultaholic.com. Keys.
I love you, bye.